Breaking right now, a judge has issued a ruling on detainments made by Customs and Border Patrol agents in the city of Chicago.
2:31 a.m. Chicago. Most of the city was asleep. Snow drifted across empty streets. Inside the Chicago field office, only the night cyber team remained awake. And then the alert came. A secure federal server inside the Dirksen Federal Building had activated a hidden protocol. Encrypted files were being duplicated and rerouted offshore. Cayman Islands, Singapore, Dubai. The access level required judicial clearance. Special Agent Maria Castanos stared at the monitor. 14 months tracking cartel financial networks through shell companies and crypto wallets had taught her one thing: criminals hide behind businesses. But this was different. This wasn't money laundering through fake companies. This was money laundering through the justice system. Within minutes, analysts traced 7 years of unusual court patterns. Drug cases dismissed, key witnesses disqualified, evidence ruled procedurally flawed, sentences reduced to months instead of decades. Individually, nothing suspicious. Together, a blueprint. Every trail led back to one courtroom, one signature: Judge Idris Mahmoud. At 3:04 a.m., Castanos asked 3 questions that would change everything. Who else knows? How deep does this go? And if we expose it, what happens to public trust? At 4:12 a.m., a locked file labeled Blueprint began transferring. They had 10 minutes before the system wiped itself. What they saw next made seasoned agents go silent. This wasn't corruption. It was infrastructure. And someone inside the courthouse had built it to last.
Fall apart.
Is considering the release of hundreds of immigrants from federal custody. Attorneys arguing there have been thousands of people arrested in violation of a federal consent decree in the Chicago area.
2:47 a.m. 9 simultaneous raids. Chicago didn't wake up. It exploded awake. Flash grenades shattered silence in Pilsen and Logan Square. Tactical teams breached high-rise condos in the Gold Coast. A quiet consulting firm downtown turned out to contain 42 encrypted hard drives hidden behind a false server wall. In a warehouse near O'Hare, agents expected drugs. They found 6 tons of cocaine hidden inside frozen seafood shipments, meth packed inside cleaning supplies, hundreds of thousands of fentanyl pills disguised as prescription medication. Street value, nearly $500 million. But the real discovery was in an office trailer: a satellite phone, 3 contacts, a secured laptop, and a photograph. Judge Mahmoud shaking hands with a known Sinaloa cartel financial operator at a private airport in Guadalajara, time-stamped 6 weeks earlier. Back at headquarters, forensic teams cracked the seized drives. The data revealed 43 shell corporations, cryptocurrency transfers moving through 14 countries in under 90 seconds, real estate acquisitions worth $630 million, and a pattern. 89 federal cases had passed through Mahmoud's courtroom in 7 years. 61 ended in dismissals or shockingly light sentences. It wasn't random, it was engineered. But buried deep in the servers was something worse: a second access credential. Someone with law enforcement database clearance. Someone who could see raid schedules before they happened. There wasn't just a corrupt judge. There was a spy inside federal law enforcement.
Chicago.
We are following breaking news out of Chicago, where a judge has just ordered hundreds of individuals detained by federal agents to be released.
The federal lawyers
6:14 a.m. Joint Task Force Command. Over 1,000 federal agents assembled. 6 agencies, 0 margin for error. Assistant Director Kowalski stood before the digital map, glowing with red markers. "This is not an arrest," he said. "This is a systemic extraction." At exactly 7 a.m., they moved. Judge Mahmood's estate in Kenilworth, a money exchange in Little Village processing $27 million monthly, a shipping company whose ships had crossed the border 400 times in 3 years. Inside Mahmood's hidden wall safe, agents found $2.4 million cash, offshore statements totaling $63 million, a leather notebook. Every entry listed a case number, defendant name, cartel payment, and outcome. 7 years documented by hand. Total recorded payments, $217 million. But the final page stopped hearts. 23 names. Police officers, border agents, prosecutors, court clerks, all paid. And when cyber teams unlocked the final server, they discovered something catastrophic. This wasn't limited to Illinois. Identical structures existed in 7 other states. Different judges, same design, and messages from someone called only El Arquitecto. One final encrypted line sent 18 hours before the raids. If they come, the insurance activates. Insurance? That meant leverage, blackmail files, recordings, evidence against federal officials. This wasn't just corruption, it was mutually assured destruction.
To fall apart.
He's considering the release of hundreds of immigrants from federal custody. Attorneys arguing there have been thousands of people arrested in violation of a federal consent decree in the Chicago area.
2:31 a.m. Federal Detention Center. Judge Mahmood sat calmly in an orange jumpsuit. Agent Castaño slid the Guadalajara photo across the table. No reaction. Instead, he spoke. "You have 48 hours. His attorney tried to stop him. He raised a hand. "If I go down, 2 senators, 11 federal agents, and a deputy director go with me. Automatic release, cloud-based, untouchable servers." The FBI had already seen fragments. The files were real. At 11:47 a.m., an emergency meeting convened in Washington. The decision? Expose everything or contain it quietly. Kowalski made the call. Full exposure, because silence protects systems like this. By afternoon, the 23 names were arrested publicly. Badge removals, perp walks, press coverage nationwide. But investigators held back critical data. Enough transparency to show accountability, not enough to trigger the insurance release. It was a gamble. For 72 hours, every cyber analyst monitored dark web chatter in offshore servers. No activation. Then came the final operation tally. 340 arrests, 8.4 tons of drugs seized, $67 million frozen, $27.9 billion laundered over 7 years, the largest judicial corruption scheme in U.S. history. But as headlines declared victory, analysts found something chilling in the last data layer. 3 more judges already compromised. The system wasn't destroyed. It was modular. It could reboot.
Breaking right now, a judge has issued a ruling on detainments made by Customs and Border Patrol agents in the city of Chicago.
11:38 p.m. Castaño sat alone, staring at the evidence board. One question remained. Who was El Arquitecto? Forensic linguists analyzed encrypted messages, sentence structure, phrasing patterns. The profile suggested something disturbing. Not a cartel boss, a former federal official, someone who once worked inside the justice system, someone who knew exactly where its weaknesses lived. This wasn't infiltration, it was redesign. Judge Mahmood wasn't the mastermind. He was middle management. The true architect had built corruption into a scalable product, and products can be sold. Weeks later, overdose data revealed the human cost. Hundreds of fentanyl deaths tied to networks protected by dismissed cases. Human trafficking victims rescued from shipping warehouses connected to the same system. This wasn't just about money, it was about silence. And the terrifying truth wasn't how one judge fell, it was how long the blueprint worked without anyone noticing. Operation Iron Veil ended a chapter. It did not end the war. because somewhere, in another courthouse, another file may already be labeled Blueprint. And the architect, still watching.